I'm here with Coach Golston of the St. Joseph Goats. And Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. So obviously not the start to the season that obviously you guys were hoping for. Tight loss on the road, but still a chance to get the ship going correctly and have the home opener you're looking for. Coming off a year last year where you guys were the top team through the regular season, looking to get back on track, league MVP returning to the team, kind of give us a glimpse of what it is that these St. Joseph fans that maybe couldn't make the trek down to Kansas City last year can expect from the Goats this season.
I would say exactly what you've seen in the second half of last week's game. We expected to have a high flying offense that kind of got off to a slow start last week, but after we got some things together, I think we got a good look at how I expected us to look offensively. And the same thing on defense. We're a little young, so I expected some guys to have some mishaps a little bit here and there. But as they pick it up, I think, as you can see, we had a couple of stops where we went like 4 or 5 drives in a row with stops. Where as you can see, we can be a dominant defense as well once we decide that we're gonna mature a little bit. If we can mature a little faster, I'll be happy about it. But we'll be okay.
Now, obviously, last year, and you kind of saw some glimpses of it a week ago, you touched on the defense. It seemed like takeaways and turnovers were kind of their calling card through all of last year. Is that something that you guys preach fairly consistently as a coaching staff, or is that something that just kind of happened organically?
Yes, sir. That's definitely the motive for the defense. And my whole defensive philosophy is put pressure on the quarterback, create turnovers, and score on defense. Look at it like if we can score a lot of points on offense and then also throw a couple more extra on defense, we'll be really hard to stop. So last year, like I said, we had guys that kind of already understood. We had 2 weeks of training camp last year versus one this year. So I think the guys will probably get going a little more this week. We should see more turnovers. Hopefully, is the game plan.
Well, and obviously, I believe last week that was one of the new teams to the league this year that you guys went on the road and faced week one, unless I am mistaken. Two new additional teams to the Arena League. Can you kind of take us through the wrinkle that the two expansion teams put out there? Whereas maybe for this home opener, you have some familiarity with having played them a year ago, some film on them. Just kind of take us through the wrinkle that the two expansion teams give to the league and give to preparing as a coaching staff.
Absolutely. So yeah, no, last week was that wasn't an expansion team. That was the Lunkers. We did play them, I think, 3 times last season. We went 2-1 versus them, so we were real familiar with each other, even though they have a new coaching staff on the offensive side. But yeah, they're a returning team. As far as the new teams go, they was actually playing each other last week, and from my observation of them, I think the Wise Guys have a really high flying offense too. I learned a lot about their head coach, Coach Brigatti, out there from my research in the offseason, and he likes to put up points. So I'm expecting for that team to be another high flying offensive team. And I like the approach of the Axemen. They decided to come out with a heavy running game. They went 3 running backs and they kind of ran. They was a lot bigger team than most teams, so I'm expecting them to be a different look and be powerful, which I think that's exciting. That brings some excitement to the league. Everybody don't look the same, you know. When you watch a St. Joseph game, you're going to see high flying and aggressive defense, and then you go to Duluth and they have the whole 2 quarterback system where one guy's like Michael Vick and it's hard to stop him, and then you go down there with the Wise Guys and you see more high flying offense. So I think they're going to bring a lot of excitement to the league. I'm excited to have him also with the Woo with Coach Victor Mann entering as the new head coach there, bringing a lot of experience to the league. Last year, all the coaches were rookie coaches as far as arena goes, and then this year they bring in 3 coaches who've already been experienced in arena games. So I think it's gonna be tough this year, but definitely more exciting to watch.
Yeah, obviously, and I'm not sure how I forgot about the Lunkers from last year. Called a couple of their games. That's 100% on me. But obviously, athletes all over the board here in the arena game. You mentioned a lot of the coaches were rookie arena coaches last year, getting acclimated to it. But now, with a year under your belt, what are some of the things that you would say are the biggest things you took away from season one coming into season two that you feel like having that 1 year under your belt already are really going to give you an advantage for?
Really just learning from mistakes that I'm making myself. I'm not really one of the coaches to blame players for anything, but I have to learn to turn my clock up a little bit. I really believe in my system as a coach. I believe in my coaching ability. So last year, probably with some guys I kept around longer than I should have, and trying to develop them, thinking that, hey, you know what, another week with me, they'll get better. And I have to understand that in this game, you have to be willing to get some turnaround really fast in this league because you need to get guys in here that can play. We only got 8 games, so if you take 6 weeks trying to develop a player, that could be the end of your season right there. So that's the main thing that I learned was just you can't develop so many relationships that you don't want to end them as a coach because you don't want to hurt guys or do things of that type of nature. You got to do what needs to be done in order to win, and that has to be the ultimate goal for every coach in this league is to win no matter what you have to do.
Yeah, and mentioned it a question ago, sort of, but a lot of fast-paced play in this league, and the athletes that you guys have. Take me through as the head coach. Do you find that it's more of a morale boost when you've got a guy coming back like Boo Smith, who was the league MVP a year ago, or does it feel like maybe it's your job to keep the, I don't know, the ego in check there? How do you approach that when you've got a player like that coming back?
So for us, this was really simple. The morale boost for us was we returned into a season where we didn't win the championship. So it was automatically a morale boost when we see each other. Like the returners, we like, hey, we can't go out like that again this year. But as far as um, people looking at it as in the sense of Boo Smith is here and the competition level isn't as thick, I don't really see it that way. I think the guys is kind of already just like we just want to add to it. The guys I've recruited this season, they all came in and he's like, Coach, I just want to be a part of something. They don't really seem like, oh, Boo's here and I'm not going to get the ball. He does a really good job of being a team player. He's not really a me first person. Him and Ryan Martinez is our leading two receivers, the two leading receivers in the league last year. And both of them have a really good personality and really good attitude towards the team in the sense of, hey, I need you guys just as much as y'all need us. So very good team players, very good team chemistry. And a lot of the new guys love playing with the both of them because they feel like they just lead by example. They don't just talk. So I think they're good for the morale of the team in that sense.
And then finally, we'll go ahead and end off. There was some big news a week ago, Coach.
Mhm.
Under new ownership, bit of a rebrand going down. Just kind of tell us about any thoughts at all about obviously, first of all, the move to St. Joseph and playing here in the Civic Arena in good old St. Joe. And then obviously, Garage Beer with the purchase of the team at the ownership level. The Kelsey brothers now officially at the very top of the business here for the Goats. Any thoughts about anything that you see uh, branding wise, change wise, with having to travel to St. Joe for the home
Mhm.
games? Any thoughts at all regarding all that?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Kansas City. I played my high school football here before I went to Wyoming and played. So the initial move to St. Joseph was hard for me at first because I just really enjoyed playing in front of our home fans. But at the same time, the people of St. Joseph have been so receptive, and we've been up there so many times just in the community, and they love us already, and we've already felt the warm welcome. And we really can't wait to get in front of them this weekend because it's just the way they just opened their arms and just embraced us. And they just like, that's the thing about those small towns like that is it's different when you're in Kansas City and we got the Chiefs. So everyone it's kind of like hard to get embraced by the fans. But in a small town like that, we become the home team there for them. So they get really behind us, and it's a great deal. But as far as the Kelsey brothers go, I was caught by surprise myself by that. I was at work and I'm working, and they like, "Do you hear the news? Did you hear the news?" I'm like, "What? We got a game this weekend?" and they like, "The Kelsey brothers took over," and I'm like, that's big. Me being a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan myself, um, and Kelsey being one of my favorite players, I thought it was huge to hear that. And then I know that's probably gonna bring a lot of excitement in St. Joseph to get more fans in there. But I look at it in the sense of if you're coming to see Kelsey, that's a great thing. But when you see what you see on the field, the type of football we play, I think that's the hooker as far as in the sense of getting people hooked in to come and watch the games. The game itself is super exciting, but it's also super exciting to have the Kelsey brothers. Who don't love the Kelsey brothers, right? They're both of them are fun guys. They're very intellectual when it comes to football. They're very personable. I haven't met either one of them yet, but just looking at interviews, I just know these are the type of guys that it's gonna be fun to be around. I don't drink beer personally myself, but I hear the beer tastes really well on top of that. So that's just icing on top of the cake.
So what you're saying is hopefully some people come out for for the Kelsey brother connection, but then once they see the goats on the field, we got a team here that's going to put keep those butts in the seats.
That's a guaranteed feeling. You know what I mean? If you like the Kansas City Chiefs when we first got Patrick Mahomes and we was putting up points all over the board, it's the same type of feeling you're going to get with our offense here. But the difference with arena football and the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL football is that the high flying action never stops in the arena. Obviously, you remember last year we lost with 5 seconds left in the game, and we were down 20 points with like 7 minutes in the game, and so much action. The score changes so many times, and it just you can't sit down. Even last week, you see how we could score or win or lose a game. Should I say on the Hail Mary? That's almost all the time in this league. That same team lost to a Hail Mary to the defending champs for at that same house. So it's just exciting brand of football. If you coming to see Kelsey do that, hopefully he's there. But I guarantee you, once you sit down in the seats and you start watching the Goats play football, it's unlike anything else. Our offense is a high up tempo style of offense. Our defense is a fly around blitz, be aggressive style of defense. And it's just, if you like those things, we try to mix the '90 Chiefs defense with the 2025 Chiefs offense.
Definitely a high flying, fast paced action league, and maybe the fastest paced team in a fast paced league with the Kansas City Goats, now the St. Joseph Goats. Coach, thank you for your time.
No problem. I can't wait to see you guys this weekend. Let's go Goats. Let's go St. Joe.
Let's go, Goats. Thank you, Coach. Now back to the game.